Penguin Random House Audio presents The Love Lyric by Kristina Forest, read for you by J. Shawnee Michaels and Ian Hackney. For my Grandma Peggy. Author's Note. In this audiobook, there are scenes where one of the main characters reflects on their grief from losing a partner. If this topic is sensitive to you, please listen with care. However, as with all of my audiobooks, I promise that there will be laughter, love, joy, and a happily ever after. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy Iris and Angel's story.
Prologue. Angel didn't really know anyone at this party. That had more or less been the norm since he'd left small-town Georgia behind for Los Angeles, where everyone seemed to know everyone, and he stuck out like a sore thumb. Even after 4 years of having a Los Angeles address, his southern accent felt too strong and noticeable. His clothes weren't trendy enough. He was a needle in a haystack of talented, beautiful people. It was hard not to fear that maybe he wasn't anything too special, and maybe he shouldn't have abandoned his gospel roots to pursue a career in R&B. Or that sex music, as his mother liked to say. Tonight, however, Angel wasn't at a party in Los Angeles. He was at a wedding hall in New Jersey because his new stylist, Violet Greene, was having an anti-wedding party to celebrate the dissolution of her engagement. An anti-wedding party was exactly what it sounded like. Guests had been told to wear all black. On the makeshift stage, Caramel Kitty, a popular rapper and another one of Violet's clients, rapped into the mic. Violet was there in the middle of the crowd, her brown cheeks flushed red as she rapped along. Violet's ex-fiancé, Eddie, had been Angel's previous manager. After Violet discovered that Eddie had cheated on her 2 weeks before their wedding, she'd called it off. But instead of canceling the venue and the catering that they'd already paid for, Violet had decided to throw a party. Cheating scandal aside, Angel hadn't been too crazy about Eddie from the beginning. Eddie was a terrible communicator and had always put Angel on the back burner in favor of his bigger clients. After Angel discovered how Eddie had cheated on Violet, he'd fired him because he didn't want a slime ball like that on his team. Luckily, Angel's record label had quickly paired him with a new manager who actually seemed like she might be able to help Angel's career progress. His label had also set him up with a physical trainer and enrolled him in dance lessons. He was working with the hottest new producers for his debut R&B album. His team wanted him to be the next big star of his generation. After almost half a decade of struggling to be noticed in the industry, Angel was finally beginning to feel hopeful that his R&B career might actually take off. After Caramel Kitty finished her set, the DJ switched to the electric slide. Angel smiled as he looked around at the sea of unfamiliar faces, Violet's family and friends on the dance floor. Here, Angel felt less self-conscious about his outfit. A basic black button-up, black jeans, and a pair of black Vans. Violet had officially taken him on as a client only 2 weeks ago, and they hadn't yet had their first fitting. He hoped she'd be able to fix his image and help him appear less boy next door, less like a 25-year-old who'd lived the majority of his life in a sheltered bubble. He walked toward the dance floor to join the electric slide, eager to strike up conversation with someone instead of standing alone, hovering on the outside. When he glanced toward the bar, he spotted another person he knew. Violet's younger sister, Lily. She leaned against the bar, looking a lot like Violet with her heart-shaped face and glowing brown skin. He and Lily had spoken before at Violet and Eddie's engagement party a few months ago. Violet had attempted to set him and Lily up, but the vibe with Lily had immediately and mutually felt platonic. And he was pretty sure that Lily had a boyfriend now. He walked over to say hello. "Hi, Lily," he said as he approached. Lily turned to him, blinking in surprise. "Hey, Angel." Her face broke into a warm smile. "How are you? I didn't expect to see you here." He smiled too, shrugging. "I took Violet's side in the breakup. Eddie wasn't a good dude." The last time they spoke, Lily had told him that she was an editor of nonfiction books. "Are you still working on books about dictators?" Lily laughed and shook her head. "Thankfully, no. How's the album coming along? Great. I've been collaborating with this new producer who... Abruptly, Angel trailed off as his attention was caught by a petite woman in a short black dress who was making a beeline toward them. Dark lipstick painted her full lips, and shimmer lightly decorated her cupid's bow. Her light brown eyes were lined in black liner, and her short hair was slicked down. A black rose was tucked behind her ear. Her hips swayed as she approached them. She wasn't smiling, but she wasn't frowning either. Her even expression was somewhere in between. Angel blinked, trying to conjure words to finish his sentence. What had he been saying? He had no idea. All he knew was that he couldn't stop staring at this beautiful woman.
I think Caramel Kitty's lyrics are going to give Great Aunt Portia a heart attack,
the woman said to Lily, leaning her elbows against the bar top. Her voice was low and sultry. She took a sip from the drink beside Lily, and she glanced at Angel. The corner of her mouth lifted in a smile. Hello. Angel's heart began a heavy gallop in his chest. The pounding traveled to his throat and hands. Belatedly, he realized she'd greeted him, and he was too busy gaping at her to answer. He wished he was smoother, but thanks to that previous sheltered life of his, he had no game to speak of, and despite his best efforts, his game hadn't improved in L.A. Hey, what's up? He said, stumbling over his words. What's good?
Iris, this is Violet's friend, Angel, Lily said. Angel, this is our other sister, Iris.
Iris. Even her name was beautiful. Iris gave a slight tilt of her head.
You're the musician.
Yes, he blinked in disbelief. She knew him? You've heard my music before? He wasn't getting any major radio play yet, but some of his SoundCloud songs were still floating around, and of course there were the songs from his gospel days. No, Iris said simply. She returned her attention to Lily.
Calla's sitting with Mom. I'm going outside to get some fresh air if anyone's looking for me.
Without another word, she walked away. Angel stared after her. The black rose slipped from its place behind her ear and landed on the ground. Unaware, Iris kept walking. It was nice seeing you again, Lily, Angel said, already moving to retrieve the rose. His voice sounded like it was coming from far away. I have to go check on something. A ghost of a smile lingered on Lily's lips as she watched him.
Nice seeing you too.
Angel scooped the rose from the floor and jogged to catch up with Iris. He didn't know what propelled him. Maybe he wanted to make up for his fumbling attempt at conversation, or to apologize for gaping at her so openly. Or maybe it was something else. His parents and other people from his old church had often talked about otherworldly, divine interventions. The heavens or angels leading people to make decisions that made sense only in retrospect. Angel didn't know if this was one of those situations, but he felt moved by some kind of unnameable force as he held Iris's rose in his hand. Iris walked into the hallway and made a left turn toward the exit. As she pushed the door open and stepped outside, she tripped over the threshold. Angel broke into a run and caught her at her elbows before she tipped completely forward. She let out a gasp as she fell backward into him. She turned her head and glanced up at him with wide, startled eyes. I've got you, he said, holding her. He helped her stand upright, and she kept her hands grasped in his as she wiggled her foot in her loose heel. Thank you, she breathed, pulling away once she regained her balance.
I assure you that I am not a clumsy person. It's these shoes.
He looked down at her strappy black heels. They were at least 5 inches tall, but she reached only to his collarbone, which let him know that she was much shorter than him normally.
They're Violet's,
she said, grimacing at the shoes.
She believes that beauty is pain. I wanted to wear flats, but she threatened to kill me.
Angel laughed. They do look complicated. His hands were still buzzing from holding her. He remembered the rose. You dropped this back inside.
Oh.
She reached for the flower. The petals were slightly bent from when she'd grabbed his hands to break her fall.
Thank you.
Of course.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?